Right. Hola, guys. So, finally got internet at my place, so I can upload videos for you guys and tell you all about boot camp and all that fun stuff. The videos I was making were a little too long, so that's why I never uploaded them. So I'm actually going to divide it up into a couple videos. Like this one, I'm going to be talking about P-Days and the first couple weeks that you're there, and then the next one will be so on and so forth. So let's start with P-Days. Start with actually the journey to basic training in Great Lakes. So you stay in the hotel the night before and go to MEPS at 4 in the morning, some bullshit like that. Um, One thing I can say and will say and highly recommend is that you guys get sleep the night before you're like actually shipping. Like when you stay in the hotel, it is like very, very important that you get sleep because when you get to RTC, you're going to be up for at least 40 hours. I was up for 42, 43 and a half, something like that. Something ridiculous. So make sure you get sleep. Like you're going to need it for sure. Um, Sorry, I'm a little parched. Make sure you get sleep. Um, you wake up that morning, 4 o'clock, go to MEPS, paperwork, you're going to get a packet that you need to take with you to RDC. Um, I waited around, got there at 4 obviously, waited around until about 1 o'clock p.m. and that's when we headed over to the airport, and our flight wasn't until like 1:45ish, but it got delayed a good 30 minutes or so, so we were up there for an hour and a half. Got on our plane. I lived in Kansas City, so my plane ride was only an hour and a half long, if that. I will say, and I've talked to everyone else about this, the plane that you take to RTC is tiny as fuck. Like I've never ridden in an airplane before, and I'm slightly claustrophobic. Um, so I was terrified, pretty much. The takeoff was super fucking fast, and I was just like, ah! And when we were up in the air, like, just cruising altitude, like, we hit turbulence when we got within 30 miles of Chicago, and the plane just started shaking back and forth, and I was just freaking the hell out, and I was like, oh my god, like, holding on to the armrest, and everyone else around me was like, dude, what's your issue? And I was just like, I'm gonna fucking die. That's my fucking issue. But it was all good. We landed fine. We landed around 4, I want to say, and it was rainy, of course. It's Chicago. The airport, I will say, is ginormous. It is the biggest airport I have ever seen. Then again, I don't fly, so I wouldn't know really. Um, you get there and you check in with the USO Uniform Services Organization. They'll tell you what to do. They tell you to eat. At MEPS, they give you this $23 check for food. I recommend that you guys pick out because it's going to be like your last like meal. I don't want to say last meal because actually the food at Basic it's way, way better than what it is that I have here at my A school. But I mean, it's your last fast food for a while, so enjoy it. So you get there, you eat, and then around 5 p.m. is when they called us. We went checked back in with the USO, and they were like, the petty officers are downstairs. So we're all thinking, fuck, like this is it. Like so we go downstairs, and then as soon as we get downstairs, they yell at us. You know, they had us fucking sit at attention for 3 hours waiting for everyone else to show up on this tile floor, and I remember my ass was sore as fuck. Like it was so painful and uncomfortable, and I mean, like I said, they yell at you, and and then you go take the bus to RTC, which is like 30 minutes long, and they have you watch this movie from like the 80s. So I mean, nothing in that movie I remember applied to anything that I did at RTC. Um, so you get there. I got there around 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Um, Fuck. I mean, that's it. Like you start boot camp right there, then and there. Like they have you go in the P-way and you line up side by side, facing people in front of you, and like don't make eye contact with them because they're gonna yell at you if you do. Like, just stare forward, find a spot on the wall, and just stare and stay cool. Listen to directions. I mean, they're gonna have you piss and do all this shit. You're gonna get shot. You get, I think, one shot. Oh god, my face looks terrible. Ugh. Anyways, um, tuberculosis shot, just paperwork. You're gonna get dental exams, all that fun stuff. Oh, you get a tuberculosis shot, and then like a couple days later, you get your real shots, like you get the one in your ass, which by the way is super fucking painful. So yeah, enjoy that. I know I did. They have this gun too that they put a cartridge in there and just shoot you in the fucking arm and it hurts. And then they have this other one, like 2 day of training. They give you other shots, and like they did it back here on your tricep, and it didn't hurt at all. So I mean, it's kind of hit or miss with the shots. Um, Dental exams were the worst. They took the longest. You got to get X-rays, and I mean the P days is basically sitting around waiting. Honestly, that's all it is. That's all you do. Um, I mean, I was trying to find before I left, I was trying to figure out if you like had like a full medical physical exam like that you did at MEPS, and turns out that you don't unless you have a certain rate that requires it, which I did. So I had to get a special physical, and that's just like the physical at MEPS. So I mean, depending on what your job, I know submarines, we all had to do it. But like I said, I don't really know what other rates had to do it. No, it was only sub guys in my division that did it. So P days, yeah, waiting around. You get all your uniform issue stuff. You're gonna get yelled at a lot. Don't fall asleep. If you feel tired, stand up. Like honestly, I mean it's embarrassing. Trust me. Like I have to do it here at A school. But stand up. You don't want to look like you're sucking air cock, you know, like that. Like we call it sucking air cock. Don't be that guy, or girl. You're gonna have the moment of truth, which is a bunch of bullshit. Don't get scared. Don't say anything. If they haven't caught it, then they're not gonna catch it. What else? What else? What else? You'll stay in the USS Pearl Harbor, which is the P-Day barracks. And the galley there, don't be fooled, because the galley there is nice, and when you get to your actual ship, it's not so nice, but the food is still good. And you're gonna get all your uniform stuff, and then you're gonna have to move from Pearl Harbor to your ship. And depending on where your ship is, mine was the farthest away, so we had to walk at least a mile and a half. Actually, I didn't walk. I forgot what I did, but I was doing something that day, and I couldn't, like, I wasn't there. So someone else had to carry my stuff. But it was at least a mile and a half. And periodically, you'll get more uniforms and all that stuff, so you'll have to carry all that back, too. Which sucks. Shit. P-days, yeah, waiting around, doing nothing, missing home. You're not gonna get, I mean, you can write letters that week, like the first couple weeks, but you're not gonna be able to send them out for like a long time. I think it was 3 weeks for us. Actually, the first couple days, they give you this packet to send home, and they gave us 5 minutes to write on the back, blah, blah, blah. Not as much time as you think it would. I think mine was like, oh, Mom, I hate this so much. Like, I want to give up so bad, but, you know, I made it. You guys will make it. Just be warned that ASMO is your worst nightmare. Like, that's what they call it. It's like, I don't know what the acronym stands for, to be honest. It's basically, they set you back in training. Sometimes it's 2 weeks, sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's the entire training. We had a guy get ASMO'd a week before we graduated, so just be mindful of that. Mind your P's and Q's, basically. Like, don't fuck up, don't backtalk, don't be a little bitch, do your shit, stay quiet. One thing I will say about staying quiet is also, when you're stenciling your uniforms and stuff like that, don't go ahead. Don't think that, oh, you're the shit and that you know how to fold this and blah, blah, blah and all that shit. If they tell you to fold it, like, a certain way, fold it and leave it. Don't do anything else until they tell you to do something else. That is a big one. Follow instructions. Don't go ahead thinking that you're fucking cool and shit, because you're not. You're just going to get yelled at and look like an idiot. So, that was basically the only thing we got yelled at the first week. Also, first week is when you pick your jobs, whatever, bullshit like that. One thing I will say is Starboard Watch, Yeoman, and Laundry PO were the 3 guys in our division that got yelled at the most. So keep that in mind. I mean, it might vary depending on what division you are and how well you do at your job, but be wary, especially like we're the first week, because they assign people jobs like that, and got in our division like a day late. Like 15 of us got in there a day later, so we didn't get to pick any jobs. So I got fucked out of a job. What was I gonna say? Yeah, just the first week, you know how they just randomly assign jobs. Most, if not all, like everyone that has a job within the first week gets fired. So be mindful of that as well. Like maybe you just wanna you might wanna let someone else have a job and like watch them and ask them how to do stuff, and then when they get fired, step up to the plate and be like, yeah, I know what to do. I'm not gonna fuck up like he did. You know, have your buddy's back. Don't be a fucking buddy fucker and let someone like the guy next to you fall asleep, and you'll get through it fine. I mean, it's gonna suck. It's boring as fuck, but you'll live. I lived, and I'm the most impatient person ever. The most that I know, and I made it. So you guys will make it. Just try to get some sleep. I know it's hard. It's gonna be hard because it's new atmosphere, but try your best and you'll make it. Like I said, follow directions, be quiet, don't fall asleep. That's all you really need to worry about. The first, what was it? It was we were on hold for a week. So P days, it was 3 weeks, and after 3 weeks, you do uniforms and all that fucking bullshit. So yeah, it's gonna be about a month before you actually start real training. So it's gonna suck for a good month, but just follow my advice and you guys will do fine, I promise. Alright, talk to you later, guys.